Yes, viewers, wonderful people, you are welcome. Good day to you wherever you are. It's Monday, it's 8 p.m. Central Europe time. My name is Matt Godwin Iwejuwa, and we're here on the SSM Monday Week Starters. Between the Lines. Between the Line is our program where we bring lively conversation on updates that has been happening globally. And joining me between the lines today is George Chuku from Toronto, Canada. George, where are you?
Well, thank you so very much, Mark Godwin. I'm from Toronto, and I just want to welcome viewers from around the world on this Between the Line for global audience. So we are here to
Yes,
give you
yes,
updates about what's trending around the world.
that's it, George. How we put it is, you say, elevate your new week, feel your
That's
success,
right.
and
That's right.
start the week with news updates. George, a lot is happening. Let's start with some interesting things in Nigeria. 2027 election. We are seeing
Hmm.
P2B, we're seeing Atiku, we're seeing some alliance being formed, and they say they are forming this alliance to fight, to battle it out with APC Tinubu come 2027. George, do you think alliance of such will work? Do you think anything these people do could out push APC Tinubu?
Well,
Love me, George.
well, well,
Say,
well. We
uh,
we, we understand that that formula was used with Asiwaju and Buhari, to
mhm,
form APC. They came in
mhm,
alliance
mhm,
together,
mhm,
so,
mhm,
and that's what
mhm,
they used, as a matter of fact, to remove the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan. So what you're seeing here is an effort being made, to oust, Asiwaju. But the question still remains. The question is,
mhm.
if Atiku, knowing the rotational presidency, which is what you call a friendly handshake between the North and the South,
That's correct.
in the last election, and he was able to manage himself to become the nominee for the PDP and was, the PDP front runner, and he didn't understanding that political strategy that was actually, it was not in the constitution, but it's a
George,
handwritten type of
George,
narrative.
George, hold tight now. I'm excited, George, because joining us from UK, London, is our wonderful diva, beautiful woman, lady Fiona Akanu. Fiona, this is nice to see. George, can you
Well,
imagine?
my day has already been made. That's all I can say. My day has already been made.
Hello.
You can see that I'm a Batman now, smiling from end to end.
Good
The
evening.
beautiful diva. Oh, hey, welcome. Oh,
Good
hi.
evening. Good evening,
You're
gentlemen.
well missed.
Good
Oh,
evening,
you're well
viewers.
missed.
It's lovely to
Welcome.
meet you.
Nice. You're welcome, Fiona. So,
Thank you.
yes, Fiona, we are talking. Fiona, there's something you gave me as update this morning, and I know a lot is happening. Back end activities, back end maneuvering, and connection alliances are being formed, all for 2027. So that's what we're talking about. This
Okay.
morning we saw Atiku, P2B, all everybody's trying to negotiate some kind of relationship. Hey, let's do this and kick out APC 2027. So George was speaking. George, tell us, yes, that the Fiona will
So
come in.
what I'm
George,
what I'm what
yeah.
I'm saying, if you go back into politics and understand the way things
Mhm,
used to work, when it came down to the last election that took place, and we saw
mhm,
that during the Jonathan era, Atiku was Buhari and Asiwaju came together, and they forged an alliance together, and that's the force was to be reckoned with internationally, as a matter of fact, and that is the
mhm.
reason why Jonathan had to be ousted out of his legitimately second term. So what we're seeing right now, my question in this alliance is, knowing actually that in the eastern part of Nigeria that has been marginalized, And everybody has been saying, where is also that it is the turn of the, Southeast to be the ones, to rule Nigeria. Would Atiku, after the last election, what he did, allow P2B to be the front runner this time? Because that is the only thing. Now, if there is an agreement on that, whether they will be able to, to take over from Asiwaju is another question. Because don't forget who we're dealing with. We are dealing with Jagaban. We're dealing with Jagaban. So, so whether they can be able to do that or not is another question. Now, so my thing is, all the things I have read, there has nothing formal that has been given that these people have actually formed an alliance. Everything is on the table. They're still discussing. We don't know how it's going to pan out. But also, I want us to understand that as far as that handshake between the North and the South remains, Atiku cannot be the front runner this time because he's from the North. He cannot. The only concession that he can make is to allow P2B to be the front runner, and that will bring Igbos, the Southeast with, the Northerners, in order to come together to see if they can, because that's a big question, if they can.
If they can. So, but all of this is if it works out, like you said, if they can. Fiona, what's your take on this? Can any alliance, no matter how
I think first and foremost, I think the first thing that we have to really understand is that 2027, as far as I'm concerned, is not really a contest. So I think that's the first thing I would take away from all this. We're all talking about stuff there's no real contest. I can't see how the incumbent is going to step aside for anybody. So as far as I'm concerned, the next proper election in Nigeria is going to be 2031. So that's my own view. So that's the first thing. Alliance, no alliance. One of the things that we have to really be clear about is that to go for power, especially in a country like Nigeria, ego has to be one of the really big factors, regardless of which party you are. You have to be quite egotistical. And, to start at this point talking about who's going to step aside for who, I think closer to the time we'll be able to see what the dynamics are. But as far as I'm concerned, anybody that's doing any alliance with anybody at this moment in time, anything is up for negotiation, anything is up for change. He that pays the piper with the most will be the person that will be the forerunner. That's really the beginning, middle, and end. So for me, I wouldn't really be too caught up in the actual technical aspects of it for now, because as we know, politics in Nigeria, one second is like, it's like a lifetime. All sorts of things are happening, so that would be my take, that alliance or no alliance, I don't really think anybody really needs to over concern themselves until 2031, except if something extraordinary happens before 2027. I believe that we will still have Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president of Nigeria. So I don't really know. I don't really know if there's anywhere to go after that.
But Fiona, don't you think if there's real fair play? I mean, we know INEC.
Yeah, absolutely. If wishes were horses, beggars would ride. If Nigeria is a lot of ifs that don't materialize. So actually, that's a big if. And when have we had equity in election in Nigeria? When was the last time there was a proper equitable election in Nigeria? When did it last happen?
And on top of what we're saying, guys, listen to this. There's a new wave blowing now. This young lady from Kogi State, the senator that was ousted, Natasha. There's a cry for her to come in, hang with P2B, and the youths are saying they will go for her. They've started the movement already.
The thing Natasha, I applaud anybody that wants to follow the underdog as well. I you see, all those things in theory are beautiful. They're good to hear. They have a feel-good factor. It's amazing. It's lovely. They can't do it. Not against the current powers that be. People are going to rise up and shout and make a whole lot of noise. And at the end of the day, even if the optics are correct, and if it were fair, then
If
they have a chance. But it's not going to be fair. They're going to make sure they align all the necessary officials, as we've seen happen in the past. And all that's going to happen is that we're going to be back.
but guys, let's talk about this also. It would be a terrible thing if we still have George, if we still have this same INEC officials, same Mahmoud-led administrators in INEC going to conduct the 2027 election. What do you think, George?
Well, listen to this. Let me tell you my own political analysis of the whole thing.
Mhm.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. I believe Atiku will step down for Peter Obi in 2027. Listen to this. Knowing how almost impossible it will be for Peter Obi to win this election in 2027, so that he will be given the fair chance. Now I'm supporting you, because him not winning in 2027 will now turn in 2031. The presidency is going back to the north, and Atiku will contest again. He will now turn around to be the front runner, and that's exactly what I believe that is going to happen. He might step down for Peter Obi now, because you know that it's practically impossible, with all things being equal, with what's his name, Mahmoud, being the head of the INEC and everything else, with everything that happened in the past. That is exactly what I'm believing, the strategy that will be taken by Atiku, because he want to say, oh, you have your fair chance. Now the presidency is going to turn to the north. And when it comes to the north right now, he is basically the front runner when it comes to, and if they form an alliance together, a new political party, just like APC was before, now in 2027, the South will not be the ones running again. It will be the North. Do you understand? And he will take over.
So
watch.
yes,
Watch.
Fiona, go ahead. Yes,
I said it's possible. What Sir George is saying is possible. It's probable.
Okay.
It's but for me, I just think at this point, if we're going to deal with the here and now and the looming election in 2027, we should all know that what is what is, and where we are is where we will be. That's and you were talking about the leadership of INEC. It's up to the powers that be. They can change the leadership. It doesn't matter, because whether they change them or not, it means nothing, because the things that happen under the surface are still going to happen. So it will just be a new face with the same occurrence. So it doesn't matter whoever they change.
Can I say something? Can I say something? If you remember during the news before the election, I was actually saying, when Buhari changed his attitude towards Tinubu, I mentioned the fact that was a deal that was made between them. Buhari was trying to turn away from it. And you saw Asiwaju started with Emilokan. That was a deal that was made in the privacy after the visit of John Kerry from United States of America to talk to both of them in Lagos. A deal was made between them. After you, I will go, when he turns to the south. So when he started making that point that he was making, Emilokan, it was a private message to the man, to the deal that they made. So for him, this is the way they know politics runs in Nigeria, and this is the way it's going to pan out again this time. Asiwaju will be there for the next 4 years.
So we don't need to read about everything.
All right. Anyway, those people are making their own actions. We hope something fruitful comes out of it, if it will work. Guys, let's go to more topics. So viewers, you are tuned in. I mean, beautiful discussion. Yeah, Fiona and George. Yeah, we're doing our Between the Lines. And guys, today in Lagos, today in Abuja, today in Oyo State and River State, Nigeria, young demonstrators took to the street under a movement called Take It Back. Take It Back movement. Take It Back movement is led by a one-time presidential candidate, Sowore. Take It Back had some actions today. Let's see this video before we come to talk about it. Let's see this.
Morning, sir. Morning, Take it back! Take it back!
Some noisy, rowdy session. Yeah. Anyway, what you're seeing there is some young people saying they want to take back everything. Nigeria is in pain. They say no food, no this, economic hardship, declaration of that state of emergency in River State, and a lot of more political issues. George, let me start with you. We've had too many of this. Every time there's a protest, every time, and the police will stop them, limit their protests and all that. George, do you think any of this has headway?
Well, I mean, what we're seeing is what we have been seeing. I mean, thankfully, there was no incident that, that we can report that something went wrong. People have the right to get out and express their emotions. Actually, a while ago, there was a time when such a thing happened, and it happened in the north, and I believe a couple of people were killed. And then it went to court, and the court was saying that, actually, there are people, you don't need to get police permission to do a civil demonstration. So this particular aspect of every time people want to demonstrate and they start warning them is unconstitutional. People have the freedom of demonstration. If they want to come out, as long as it's peaceful and as long as it's civil, they have the right to do so. So, I mean, people, are suffering in Nigeria, whether we like it or not. It's not a hidden situation. A lot of bad moves were made in the past that is bringing about the state of economic affairs in Nigeria right now that is so not very, very good one, especially with the subsidy being removed, the coloring of the naira, all of those things that took place, and then all of a sudden taxes are increasing. Everything is just going bad for now. But what they're saying is be patient, things will change, and we hope that things will change. So hopefully it will normalize. That's our hope, because the fact of the matter is a lot of people are dying that are not being reported. People are dying of hunger, and people are burying them. After blaming their neighbor of poisoning them and all that, they die of hunger and they bury them, and nobody is. There is no statistical analysis about something is happening like this. So if somebody dies of hunger, who is going to go and count and call the police and tell them, oh, well, our person died because of malnutrition or whatever the case might be? We don't have any statistics on that. So those things are, what they're doing is their constitutional right. They will continue to do. Whether it's going to make any have any effect on the government the way they think in their kakistocracy kind of way, I don't know. It remains to be seen.
It remains to be seen. Fiona, I mean,
I think I echo what Sir George said is what it is. Everybody has got the right to protest and whatever. But more to the point, really, to what end? I mean, they're protesting. I'm not sure where their president is at the moment. I think he's in France. So I
we're going to come to that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really. To what end, and we see this each election cycle. The closer the election comes, the more poverty stricken they make the populace. So they weaponize the poverty so that when it gets to election, these people are easy to be led by some bits of rice and some money. And quick to be led. It happens
Yeah.
every election cycle. We see it. But one of the hardest things for me at the moment in Nigeria is that Nigerians in Nigeria now have to buy naira. It's the
Okay.
craziest situation ever. So I can understand how the populace is frustrated. That even in a country, to withdraw your own money, you can't go in the bank and get money that you want. You need to patch. So there's so much frustration. Everything is expensive. Everything is overpriced. Of course, people are not happy. Of course, they're going to
Mhm.
protest. But who cares? Does the government
Mhm.
care? The government doesn't.
Mhm.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
But okay, can I
Nobody.
have one thing? So, you see, one of the
Okay.
situations that is so unacceptable to me is that the president can come out or use, his whoever to stop a lot of things that are happening in Nigeria. When the people are pained based on what Fiona is just saying, that you cannot even go to the bank and get your money from the bank. You have to pay to get your money from some of these third party, whoever they
Who
subscribe to.
always happen to
Is
have cash, by the way. They always happen to
or
have
they
cash.
will always have cash. So now the question is, why can't the government look into that thing and stop that nonsense and ensure that the banks are well funded, because the banks are the ones that are doing this. The banks are the ones that are making sure that these people are making sure that they have money
Saving.
to
Mhm.
sell to the people and share the profit with these people that are subscribing to. So these are things that needs to be looked into and stopped. The president can't do it unless he doesn't know what is happening, but I'm quite sure that he does. So he needs to step up and become the president and stop that type of, people just cheating people unnecessarily. It doesn't make any sense.
Mm. I think I don't know how much the president's fingers are on the pulse of Nigeria. I'm not really sure, because a lot of times what happens when you're in leadership, and things are going wrong, if you surround yourself with psychopaths and yes men and people that say, yes sir, you're doing very well, oh this is fantastic, oh down the line is going to improve, you're not really going to have a proper good look at actually how bad things are. I don't know that he does or he doesn't, but I'm trying to be objective and say that there's a possibility that he doesn't actually have a proper awareness of what's on the street because of the people that he surrounded himself with. It's very possible, you know.
But
But whatever the case, whatever the weather, Nigerians are really going through a whole lot. We're going through a lot. A lot.
another another issue, Fiona, is that they are always on the defensive. Even when a good constructive criticism comes, you see all these sycophants that are made ministers. They come, they insult, they become defensive. Nobody comes out to say, okay, well, we are listening to you, and this is what we intend on doing to change the narratives or to change what is happening. You see them, they will push you down, they will talk nonsense about you, they will even threaten you. And
Of
that's
course.
one of the major issues that we are having in that country. And it needs to change. And it needs to change yesterday.
Mm.
Because the point is, when people are boiling over like they are, one of these days, and I keep on saying that, and a hungry man is an angry man. Let's keep Nigeria as one country, but let's make sure that we listen to the people that have elected us, whether rightly or wrongly, to govern them. They are
Thank
the
you. Thank you,
servants
John.
to the people.
The people. Thank you.
Mm.
Listen, you guys are blowing real hot and fluid. It's going smooth. Viewers, what you're seeing earlier was police dispersing these protesters in Abuja with tear gas. That protest is called Take It Back movement. Youth staging protests in Lagos, Oyo, and Rivers and Abuja. But they weren't allowed to. The police took them back. Instead of them taking it back.
Massive Mac, you and I had this conversation last week, and I told you what
Yes,
will happen. I told you it's not going to go anywhere, and where are
it's
we?
not going to go
But
anywhere.
but
Anyway,
you see, but that's so wrong. That is absolutely wrong. That's
It is, but
unconstitutional
it
for
is our
these forces to
Nigeria,
be
though.
out there. What they need to do is to maintain civility in these protests. When people are demonstrating, their only function is to maintain peace, not to
yeah,
go and start throwing a tear gas and destroy. Just dispersing. Look at that. Dispersing people who are exercising their constitutional rights.
right.
They're not supposed to be doing that.
And
The
each of those
problems
tear
of
gas,
Nigeria.
each of those things they use to disperse them is our taxpayers' money being used anyhow,
Against us. That's right.
against us,
That's
Okay, guys,
Nigeria.
it's sad, it's terrible. But thank you both for putting into light these things. Viewers, this is it. Between the lines, I'm here with Fiona. Fiona, it's really serious what's happening with Trump and the tariffs. And we know the UK is not backing down. What we heard is a lot of countries are coming up with their own plan to see that they keep their head above the waters, So, but anyway, Trump is rolling out very hardcore tariffs against everybody. And this morning, Nigeria came out. The Nigerian government, through its minister for trade, Oduwole came out. I think we have a clip on that. I don't know. Oduwole came out to tell us it's going to hit Nigeria hard too. She said the U.S. tariff is going to threaten Nigeria in terms of about $6 billion of exports. Oduwole also said that normally we have this annual export to the United States, and this whole thing is going to affect it. We'll be losing out $6 billion to our export to the United States. And she also said about $5 to $6 billion again that should be realized annually will no more come to us because of this tariff. So it doesn't look good. Let me start with you, Fiona. Fiona, you're in economics.
Well, it doesn't
Do you
look good.
think?
There's nothing. There's really no. What can we say? I mean, really, since POTUS came into office, he has been a global inconvenience from the beginning. So what can we say? That's what he's decided. It's unfortunate. I don't think Nigeria is the only. I mean, I'm glad that you've been able to articulate the figures for Nigeria. I think, as I said, it's a global inconvenience. This is going to affect across the world. I don't think it's just going to affect Nigeria or the UK. It's going to affect anybody that has any kind of trade that they do with the United States. And I wonder, from an economic point of view, how long this backing and forth can be sustained, really. At the end of the day, the people that are going to suffer most are not people like POTUS. It's going to be people like you and I, where things come to our hands more expensive. It's going to affect the common man as usual. When the elephants are fighting, the ants suffer. So it's going to affect the little people.
Yes.
It's going to affect cost of our items to us. It's going to affect people that trade, retailers. Those are the people that are going to really be affected.
Yes.
And we're just going to have to watch.
Let's come back on this topic, guys. Let's take this small break like we normally do. And come back. George, hold tight. It's also coming from your end. I know Canada is not smiling with Trump, with America now. Everybody's face like, Let's come back on this.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in diaspora and at home's leading English news network. One of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Elevate your new week. Fuel your success. SSM invites you to kickstart each weekday with our news update, Between the Lines, featuring the week's top news and analysis, and the most attention-grabbing lines, deciphering world event.
Yes, viewers, you're welcome back. Between the Lines. Today, the 7th of April, 2025. I'm here with Fiona Kanu from UK, London, UK, and George Chuku from Toronto, Canada. George, do you know what happened this morning? A billionaire in the United States, and he backs Donald Trump. He was with him during the election. He supported, gave some money, but he came out this morning to say this whole thing is wrong move by Trump. He said it's going to be self-induced, self-inflicted pain on America. America is going to suffer the more. Tell us, George, what did you say last time we were talking about this? What more?
Yeah, what we are saying is a paradigm shift in the global world economy. You know, what we're saying is the change in global order, a new era of protectionism. Because, you know, what you're looking at Trump now saying, oh, America must come first. What you call this is the end of what you call the free trade and rules-based globalization. Where in 1930s, that was the first time you saw something like this. And that led to Second World War. Okay? When everybody was doing their own thing, everybody wanted to protect themselves. They didn't want, they were having a private deals with each country rather than having what you call the World Trade Organization rules that ruled everything before. Everybody abided to it. As much as it was not completely perfect, it needed some reform. But what we are seeing now is completely different. Completely different. Now, what is happening is people are afraid, and everybody's trying to withdraw their money. And you know, I mean, if you look at the stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange, and around the world, I mean, they have lost almost trillions of dollars. So that's the reason why this person is coming out now to complain, because it is affecting everybody. And when you lose this money, it's going to take you time again to build it up eventually. So, people are just looking at their investments, and billions are vanishing overnight. Now, with regards to Canada, I mean, he put a 25% tariff on us, and Canada is trying to find a way to retaliate. I know Mexico said that they're not going to retaliate. Some countries like Singapore say they're not going to retaliate. But other countries, as a matter of Europe, they're going to retaliate, whether they like it or not. And when they retaliate, it's going to raise the prices of goods on both sides. As for Nigeria, it's not going to affect us that much as many countries like Singapore. Nigeria, we don't export much of anything. What do we export anyway? When you really think about it, it's crude oil and what else? A few other minerals that most of them are going illegally anyway. So it's not going to affect us as much as it will affect some countries. Many smaller countries will be squeezed out. They're going to be marginalized because these giants, like what Fiona said, when the elephants are fighting, it is the ants that will suffer. So smaller countries will suffer at the end of the day. And if you see all the tariffs that are being, spread all over the place, China is being affected all over the world, but Russia is not being affected. They were exempted.
Okay.
So
on top of this,
so
George,
when you see that,
the man on top of this, Trump is defending his policy. He's coming on social media. He likes social media and saying that these tariffs are for the good of America. Let's hear what Trump says here this morning while on the flight.
I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. I talked to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They're dying to make a deal. But I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. We're not going to do that, because to me, a deficit is a loss. We're going to have surpluses, or we're at worst going to be breaking even. Now, what's going to happen with the market, I can't tell you, but I can tell you our country has gotten a lot stronger. We're the piggy bank. We have all the advantages. Forget markets for a second. We have all the advantages. We'll get it straight out. We're going to become a wealthy nation again. Wealthy like never before. And we're not going to let other nations that have been ripping us off, whether it's China or the European Union, with all of the European nations that have just made it's been like a feast. Look, the European Union was formed for one reason. You know what that was? To rip off the United States. So put that in your bonnet. I hope you had a good flight.
Okay, but we're hearing it from the man himself.
But I didn't.
Yes.
Why is he not coming? I didn't hear what he was saying. It was.
You didn't hear what he was saying?
No, I didn't. I did not. Okay. So I guess he's coming out there.
He came out. He came out on this side. It was audible. Fiona, you heard what Trump was saying there. Yeah. Okay. I think Fiona has some. Anyway.
So for decades, yeah, he is. The point is this. The point is this. He he's bringing out his own ideology, a different thing altogether. He wants America to be isolated like North Korea. That's exactly what we're seeing. Because for decades, the U.S. championed the free trade and led efforts to build multilateral trading system anchored with clear rules and norms. But right now, he's changing it, all because he made a promise to them. He wants to protect. He doesn't want foreigners in the country. He's trying to make it look like North Korea. That's his ideology. That's the way he thinks. And it all stemming from what you call white supremacy type of ideology. That's what it is. The country belongs to us. We don't want anybody coming in here to interrupt what we're doing. It's our country. If you're of a different skin color, you're not one of us. If you're another country, you're not one of us. That is where this stuff is stemming from. You understand? But what you're seeing, the system might not be perfect, but it's a system that actually helped everybody. It was a win-win situation. It was a win-win situation, a free trade zone where everybody can participate. But what you're seeing now is completely different. Protectionist and dangerous phase. And people got to be sure that they are for the next 4 years. It's gonna be a hell around the world. If care is not taken.
Okay.
We got to be ready.
You had the clip. You had Trump speaking.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
So the man is still defending his policy. He's not backing down. He's also making us understand that it's America first. Every other person,
But Americans are suffering. But they're suffering. Okay. They're losing their money. So I don't know what America first is. And this is the reason why there was a demonstration yesterday all over. Thousands, filled all over US, protesting against the government with Elon Musk and all that. So I don't know what it is. Even the people who voted for him are coming out and saying, we are suffering. Recently, there was a situation that happened in America where birds flu cleared thousands of chickens, and they don't have they didn't have any eggs. Now, for this situation to take place right now, the 6-pack of 12 eggs that they used to buy for $3.99 is now $12 plus. Because if you impose a tariff on me and I put tariff on everything that I'm gonna be bringing to you, that means if I bring the eggs that you need, you're gonna, the tariff is gonna be on it, and the prices will be high. People are crying all over the United States of America.
Also, added to that, George, we have a situation in Europe now, mostly this western part of Europe. The Europeans are telling people to prepare themselves. They are training students in school and urging citizens of Europe to stockpile food, water, essentials, because there is a deteriorating security situation in the world, George, Fiona. And we have that graphic there you see on the screen. It's a graphic by SSM while we're analyzing what countries are doing. Every country in Europe taken to this instruction by the Europeans themselves, So, do you guys think, Fiona, let me ask you, do you think we're heading towards a World War III, regardless of Trump coming in and, reducing some of these aggressions between Ukraine, Russia, reducing some of the things we used to know before in Afghanistan, Syria? Fiona?
I think that I think there's definitely global unease. So I think that the unease is so there's a jitteriness just globally. I don't even think it's just Europe, but there's just an unease, and I think it's a global, and the reasons are manifold. My hope would always be, as a child of a person who was in Biafra, and a child of parents who lost everything during the war. My prayer would always be that there would not be a war. That would always be my prayer. That would always be my hope. And I'm hoping that the level-headedness of some countries will avert anything like that should it become more of a reality. That would be that's my major concern. I know that the optics coming from the United States are not helping issues. I think there's just generally unease with many countries, and I think that the hope is that with time there will be kind of a cessation of the kind of talks that we're having at the moment, and we can just kind of get back to the business of just trying to live contented lives. That's just what my hope would be at this moment in time. In terms of really speaking to whether there's going to be a war or not, I think what's happening in Ukraine is bad enough for us in Europe. We don't really need any additional. I know there's been all this talk about Trump and Greenland and all these things. I just hope that everything can just kind of, I think it's already a bad enough situation as it is. We've not been able to recover the cost of things in the shops in terms of, oil, stuff like that. We're still really struggling with those things. The last thing we need is for any country to become involved in any kind of war, because it affects all of us. Yeah.
Well put, Fiona. That was well said. George, so this is what we're seeing in Europe. We don't know about North America and where you are. Is there that same unease, like Fiona just said? Is there?
Yeah, it is. It's a global uneasiness all over the place, and when you think about this for a moment. Gaza Strip. Think about that.
Okay.
They try to bring peace accord between the Hamas and Israel. None of them is happening. None of them is true. So they're still going after. Israel is still going after Hamas. They are still conquering territories and taking over on the narrative of what Trump said. Let's move these people, 2 million people, out of that place and replace them somewhere else. Okay. So what you have to understand is how it is going to impact other countries. What countries are you going to put these people in? Well, 2 million people you're not talking about 200,000. 2 million people. It's a lot of people to be displaced. And a lot of countries will frown at that. Because this is a place that for generations they have been in, and then you want to come and move them out of there and to put them somewhere else. There's a global unease all over the place. Look at Russia and Ukraine. The more you talk about peace, the more Russia is firing Ukraine and trying to take over. Why is that? Because the resistance is now limited because Trump is in power. So they want to use that opportunity while we are still talking about peace. They want to use that opportunity to cripple these people and bring them to their knees. And that's what you're seeing. That is the reason why there is a global unease. And to be very frank with you, we are all to be prepared, because things will never be the same if this nonsense continues. It will never be the same. I'm telling you, the likelihood of a full-blown global trade war is growing. And it will negatively impact all global investments.
Okay.
Thank you,
George.
This is how World War II came. And we are looking at something else that is going to happen very soon
Similar.
if we are not careful.
Nice. Thank you, George. George, but somebody that doesn't look like he's perturbed with anything, he's having his good time, traveling and going for walk. Relax his bones. Is our president Tinubu. The Onis doesn't concern him. Tinubu is presently in France, and Nigerians are shouting. Nigerians came out, expressing their disappointment over these trips. One man that his voice was loud is Senator Wabara, Adolphus Wabara. That's one time Senate president. So Tinubu is not feeling the unease. He's enjoying he's even enjoying this whole thing somehow. Fiona, you were about to tell us something about that.
Well, I mean, the truth about it is that, I mean, obviously we know about his personal relationship with Sir Gilbert Shiguri, so we know that,
Sure.
and
Okay.
we know that our president has been to France more times than he's been to any other country since he's been in office for the last 2 years. We don't know why, but we know that we these are all facts. Yeah, some officially and unofficially he has been. We don't know the reason behind all the. We don't really I've seen different things in different. Somebody even said, oh, he's the president of. People are making. It's like a public joke now. I don't really know what he's going there for. We do know in the behind the scenes know that there are obviously other members of Nigerian politics that have also traveled to be there and have meetings with him there. So I think we should be expectant in 2027 to see some interesting things playing out. I think I've said before that I can see us hurtling quite rapidly towards a one-party state, which is why for me to start to think about what 2027 looks like, what I can foresee is a 2027 where literally we're going to have an APC clean sweep of the board. That's what I can see. And I can tell you that the meetings that are going, all this movement and all these people that are doing all these things, it is to fulfill one agenda. Because only people that don't understand are still saying, oh, I don't know whether I want to do this. I don't know whether I want to run. I don't know. People that know what they're doing already know what they want to do come 2027. 2027 is here. Forget that we're in 2025. 2027 is here politically, because before in the twinkle of an eye, we're going to be saying Merry Christmas to one another. It will be 2026. We all have to hit the ground running. The people that understand the game have already started making their plans. So I'm sure that is
powerful.
yes.
George, yes.
Well,
just said,
listen. To govern Nigeria is not an easy place to govern. Number one, and besides the original mistakes that were made earlier, I don't know the reason why our president is in France, but he's our president. So, it could be that he doesn't want anybody to know about his health issues. It could be that he's going there to make sure, because you remember how many weeks he spent there before the inauguration. And then when he left, he was tired. When he came back, he was full-fatted up, well nourished. So maybe he's going there to, he was very well nourished, So, if him going to France is part of the reason why, he's, making sure that the stresses of Nigeria does not affect his health so that he will be unable to govern. Kudos to him. I don't know the reason. I can't say the reason why he's going there, but it's very possible that possibly he might have some health issues. Possibly, I didn't say he does. We don't know the reason.
George, you've been abroad for years now. No matter what it might be, health, social, politics, whatever it might be, it's wrong that we have a leader that goes out and nobody understands, nobody knows. In fact, he sneaks out of the country. He goes out in the night, he sneaks, and comes back. I mean, that's strange, George.
No, he didn't sneak. It doesn't sneak out. It doesn't sneak out. He leaves, and it's announced that he's traveling before he traveled.
Yes. No, what I mean
He's
sneaking out
announced.
is sometimes that we don't know. We only know when he's out there. He went out yesterday. This one is announced because eyes have been, we've all been putting our eyes on that. Fiona, why will a leadership move around on the silence? I mean,
because let me tell you why our leadership can do what it wants, because that's what we've permitted always. So why is it going to be any different? We've always accepted below what is acceptable. We've always accepted. So I don't know why his own should be any different. We had it with
because that's the thing. That tag there is public office.
It's the public office,
you see,
public servant,
public
call it whatever
office.
you want.
So whoever sits in the public office is open to everything. I mean, you choose to be there.
Yes,
so
but
we should
not in Nigerian context. Not in
yeah,
Nigeria. Don't forget also that Nigerians were also extremely superstitious, paranoid, etc. So there's also that angle to add into it. So I mean that the president is out of the country, he didn't tell people, or he told people after the fact, or whatever, all those things. I don't think I think it's not even I don't even know, it's not even a cause to become concerned about. Is it right or wrong? I'm not saying it's right, neither have I said it's wrong. But I'm saying that we have far bigger problems to address than is he in the country or not.
No, think about this for a minute. Think about this for a minute. You have to understand that just because we have a constitution doesn't mean that the culture of respect is eroded. We still maintain the culture of respect. That is the reason why you see a lot of times when somebody says certain things, all of a sudden you see police knocking at your door because you're insulting the president. You saw what happened with this young lady the other day. The one, I forgot her name, that just, the one that just brought about, a lot of, youth couple that say something. So, you see, there's still that aspect of respecting your elders or leaders that is still there. You can come here. I was with I moderated a campaign for Justin Trudeau, and when I finished and we were walking out to his car, what did I see? A bunch of folks over there calling him every name in the book, and he wanted to address them. They insulted this man. I was cringing. Because I'm like, what I'm hearing what they're calling him. And he wanted to turn to them to talk with them. And I know it was going to be a disaster. I turned around to the crowd and I said, we want Trudeau. We want Trudeau. And everybody started shouting and, just drowned them. And that was the only way he left in victory. But if not, if he had turned around, they would have it's possible. The only thing they would not do is to touch him. But they will say everything in the world. Today, you can insult Trump and get away with it. But in Nigeria, you cannot do that. You can't. Publicly.
We can't do that. Let's wrap it up with this. There's something interesting, and that's because of the Trump reaction everywhere. A Democrat, a senator in the United States, Democrat, Cory Booker, broke a record, and a lot of people are looking at it like, wow, that's impressive. So Cory Booker broke the record of the longest Senate speech, and all of the speech was against Trump, his policy. Let's see clips, just small clip of what happened this morning. It started yesterday night till this morning.
No, it's 25 hours. 25 hours.
25 hours. Yeah. Let's see.
Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
It was a feat of endurance requiring both physical and mental stamina. US Senator Cory Booker's marathon speech on the Senate floor was record-breaking. He spoke for more than 25 hours, almost non-stop, without bathroom breaks. The New Jersey senator leant on the lectern for support, but had short pauses by taking questions and words of encouragement from his fellow Democrats.
I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically able. I rise tonight because I believe sincerely that our country is in crisis.
It was a fiery protest against President Trump's policies. Booker railed against the president on a range of topics, from foreign policy to cutting government services.
The President of the United States has inflicted so much harm on Americans' safety, financial stability, the core foundations of our democracy, and even our aspirations as a people from our highest offices, a sense of common decency.
Without a majority in either congressional chamber, it's difficult for Democrats to counter Trump through the legislative branch. The speech, while not a filibuster against specific legislation, did stall Senate business. It's part of the Democrats' effort to show their...
Okay, yeah. That's a small snippet to what happened. But Trump is not listening. Fiona, will a Nigerian senator do this? Could we pull this up too? But take note.
First of all, I don't even think they would have the stamina to do it. I mean, these are people that we find sleeping, falling asleep, and all that. So that's out. That wouldn't happen.
I like that.
25 hours and 5 minutes. So not just 25 hours, 5 minutes as well. The truth of the matter is that there's a lot wrong with Trumponomics. There's a lot. If you're just an economics scholar or anybody that even has a bit of common sense or business acumen or anything, there's a lot wrong with what POTUS is doing with what he's doing. So it is, while it is not a mean feat what Cory Booker has done, it is understandable that Trump has given enough context for somebody to be able to speak for that length of time. It's not surprising because there's so many things to talk about. You know, is it really going to have much impact because these minorities? I'm not really sure, and also because net when you're dealing with narcissists.
Okay, I think is the network there. Anyway, George, you had that, and
well, I don't think he's gonna really. I mean, he's making a record for himself. But Trump was held on a leash in the first 4 years of his presidency. Now he understands that nothing can happen, you know. So he has the Senate, he has the House, and to impeach him and remove him is gonna be almost impossible for now. Where you will begin to see a little bit of cautionary move will be towards the midterm election. Now you're going to see a lot of them start cautioning him, and that is one of the major. That's the only thing. For now, he's on a free reign. He can do whatever he wants, and it doesn't matter as long as his name is out there and he is believing in what he believes he's doing is right. He will continue to do what he wants to do. That's it.
Wow. He will continue to do what he wants to do. George, listen, it has been a beautiful evening between the lines. Fiona, where are you? You spiced up tonight. Tonight, between the line has come out real beautiful. I tell you, our numbers are growing, and more importantly, you guys have really grown in your knowledge base. You put it out well this time. I tell you, I'm impressed. I'm happy to have my guys back. Viewers, this is it. Monday Between the Lines. Fiona came through, surprised us with beautiful viewpoints. George is here as usual, and myself. So until we come again on Wednesday, George, Fiona, what do you guys say?
Everybody have a good week ahead. Stay safe, stay hopeful. I hope it all works out.
Nice. George?
Well, prayer still works. For all the people that are uneasy and all those people that are very stressful about things that are happening. Well, it was predicted that, around this time, such things will be happening. And the instruction that we got, let not our hearts be troubled.
That's right.
Don't allow your hearts to be troubled. TTSP means this too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
It shall come to pass. So stay safe, stay healthy, and maintain your emotional intelligence.
Nice.
That's all I can say until we see again.
Good night.
Nice. Bye-bye, everybody. So till we see again, everybody, it's ciao ciao from this side too.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.